It was a rainy Thanksgiving Eve in 1971. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was preparing for takeoff. The plane, a Boeing 727, was set to fly from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. Among the passengers was a man who called himself Dan Cooper. He was about to make history. Cooper was calm and polite. He sat in the back of the plane, smoking cigarettes and drinking bourbon. Shortly after takeoff, he passed a note to a flight attendant. The note said he had a bomb and he wanted $200,000 and 4 parachutes. The flight attendant was terrified. She immediately told the pilot about the note. The pilot contacted air traffic control. The FBI was notified. The plane was ordered to land in Seattle. Cooper had hijacked the plane. Nobody knew who this man really was or what he was truly capable of. Fear gripped the passengers and crew as they realized they were trapped in a high-stakes standoff. The plane circled above Seattle as authorities scrambled to meet Cooper's demands. The authorities took Cooper's threats seriously. They didn't want to risk the lives of the passengers and crew, so they agreed to meet his demands. They gathered the money, $200,000 in $20 bills. They also found 4 parachutes. The plane landed at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. An FBI agent delivered the money and parachutes to Cooper. In exchange, Cooper released the 36 passengers and some of the crew. He kept the pilot, co-pilot, and 1 flight attendant on board. Cooper gave the pilots specific instructions. He wanted to fly to Mexico City. He demanded the plane fly at a low altitude and at a slow speed. He also wanted the rear air stair lowered. The atmosphere inside the plane was tense. Cooper was in control. He seemed to know exactly what he was doing. The crew, though terrified, followed his instructions carefully. The plane refueled and took off again, this time with only Cooper and the remaining crew members on board. As the plane flew south, Cooper stayed in contact with the pilots. He used a headset to communicate with them from the back of the plane. He seemed to be monitoring their every move. He was calm and collected, even giving the flight attendant instructions on how to operate the rear air stair. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, Cooper made his move. He ordered the crew to stay in the cockpit. He then lowered the rear air stair and jumped out of the plane. It was a daring escape into the night sky. The time was approximately 8 p.m. The plane was flying at an altitude of 10,000 feet. It was a stormy night with heavy rain and strong winds. The crew in the cockpit felt the plane jolt as Cooper jumped. They couldn't believe he had actually done it. They radioed air traffic control and reported that Cooper had jumped from the plane. The jump was incredibly risky. Nobody knew if Cooper had survived. He was wearing a suit and a trench coat, not exactly skydiving gear. He had a parachute, but it was an old military model that might not have been reliable. After Cooper jumped, the plane continued flying towards Reno. The FBI had been tracking the plane closely. They had fighter jets following behind, but they were unable to see Cooper jump in the darkness. Once the plane landed safely in Reno, a thorough search of the aircraft was conducted. There was no sign of Cooper. He had vanished without a trace. Had he survived the jump? Had he landed safely and escaped? Or had he met a tragic end somewhere in the vast wilderness below? The authorities were baffled. They'd never seen anything like this before. They had no idea who Cooper was, where he came from, or where he was going. He had left behind very little evidence. The only clues they had were the parachute and the ransom money. Even his identity was a mystery. Dan Cooper was just the name he had used on the plane ticket. The FBI later discovered that the ticket had been purchased with cash under a fake name. Section 5. The hunt begins. The FBI launched a massive investigation. They interviewed hundreds of people. They searched thousands of square miles of wilderness. They followed up on every lead, no matter how small. They were determined to find Cooper and bring him to justice. The case quickly captured the public's imagination. People were fascinated by the story of the daring skyjacker who had outsmarted the authorities. The media dubbed him D.B. Cooper, a name that stuck even though it was based on a misunderstanding during early news reporting. Despite their best efforts, the FBI made little progress in the case. Years passed and the trail grew colder. Cooper became a legend, a symbol of mystery and intrigue. The case remained unsolved, a constant reminder that even the most elaborate plans can succeed and even the most wanted criminals can vanish into thin air. Although the FBI investigated thousands of leads over the years, only a few pieces of tangible evidence ever surfaced. The most significant discovery came in 1980 when a young boy named Brian Ingram found a bundle of $20 bills on the banks of the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. This discovery sparked renewed interest in the case. It suggested that Cooper may have landed somewhere near the Columbia River. However, the location of the money raised more questions than it answered. How had it gotten there? Had Cooper survived the jump only to die later? Or had he stashed the money and escaped? In addition to the money, investigators also recovered a portion of a parachute from the woods near the suspected jump zone. While this seemed promising, it was later determined that this parachute was not the same type as the ones provided to Cooper. The mystery deepened. Despite the discovery of the money and the parachute, the D.B. Cooper case remained unsolved. The FBI continued to investigate new leads as they came in, but none of them panned out. In 2016, the FBI officially announced that they were suspending active investigation of the case, stating that they had pursued all credible leads. Over the years, the lack of concrete answers only fueled speculation. Numerous theories emerged, some more plausible than others. Some people believed that Cooper had perished during the jump, his body lost in the vast wilderness. Others argued that he had survived and was living under an assumed identity. The case became a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. Some people even claimed that Cooper had been assisted by a shadowy government organization, or that he had faked his own death to escape a life of crime. The mystery of D.B. Cooper's identity has captivated the public for decades. The FBI explored countless possibilities, looking into individuals with criminal histories, military backgrounds, and even those with expertise in parachuting. Amateur sleuths and armchair detectives have also dedicated countless hours to researching the case, developing their own theories and pursuing their own leads. Some of the more popular theories centered around individuals with possible ties to aviation or criminal activity. One prominent suspect was a man named Richard Floyd McCoy, who carried out a similar hijacking a few years after Cooper's disappearance. However, McCoy was eventually apprehended and ruled out as a suspect in the Cooper case. Other theories focused on individuals with knowledge of the terrain where Cooper may have landed. Some people believe that Cooper had been a logger or a survivalist, someone familiar with the wilderness and capable of disappearing into it. Despite the numerous theories and leads, none have been definitively proven, and D.B. Cooper's true identity remains a mystery. The unsolved mystery of D.B. Cooper continues to fascinate people to this day. The daring hijacking, the risky escape, and the complete disappearance of the perpetrator have all contributed to the case's enduring appeal. The lack of a definitive answer only adds to the intrigue, allowing people to speculate and imagine what might have happened on that stormy night in 1971. The case has become a part of American folklore, inspiring books, movies, television shows, and countless articles and documentaries. The mystery of D.B. Cooper serves as a reminder that there are still unsolved puzzles in the world, secrets that may never be fully revealed. Perhaps one day new evidence will come to light, or a deathbed confession will finally reveal the truth about D.B. Cooper. Until then, the mystery will live on, a testament to the enduring power of the unknown.